I'm sitting here. And I'm looking at this water tower, and I'm picturing. You see the cell tower or the cell antennas on it there, of course, all around it. But at the height that it's at, relative to the ground, if you could account for hills and valleys, there could be other water towers. There used to be a lot more water towers, by the way. And they could all be set at the same relative, to each other elevation, so that there was a linear, like an antenna line of sight type of level to them all. And water is a resonant. It's a resonant. Matter? The material of water resonates. It can, it vibrates, it oscillates and jostles, and like is used in communications types of things and electronic devices and whatnot. And so, if those were all at the same level, picturing waves of energy moving between them, or maybe becoming condensed or focused as a result of them all being on the same line. But also, what really prompted me to even think about this right now is that how much that resembles a transistor. And transistors are made of semiconductors, semiconductor silicon, doped with other things to give it its P or its N bias, and that's how you get transistors. And microchips and all that stuff is based on basically that, on P or N differentiation between positive or negative electrical flow. But anyway, the transistor, water, depending upon its state of impurities, is also semiconductive, and it is a liquid crystal. We think of water as just plain old water. It's water, but water is a crystal. It's just liquid at the temperatures that we live at. But a little bit colder and it's a solid, and a little bit hotter and it's a gas. So it's a three states of matter in the same thing right there. That's kind of a special quality in matter, to have three states. I think water has a fourth one too, or beyond. Yeah, it does. It's got several zones right up until pure dry steam. And then I don't know, what is it after that? Pure force energy? I think the jury's out on that one still. But anyway, the transistor. Giant transistors of semiconductive water on the same line, planted into the ground, perhaps making a uniform base for receiving atmospheric electricity, because the positive charge descends from up above, and the negative charge of the high amount of electrons and mass is the ground. That's why the ground is the ground, maybe because of its mass. And it's that's why the ground is below us, I think, because the negative charge is there. The if they're real, because these are only ways of thinking about things, but if they're real, electrons are the negative charge. That's what is held to be the state of science right now. It's always changing, and there's a big problem when science is like, oh, we figured it out now. This is locked in solid. No one ever need question this. That is the hallmark of somebody who learned something out of a book and doesn't know how to think for themselves. If you ask me, in my not humble opinion. But anyway, transistors. Giant transistors. Water in the tower. The water is the semiconductor, right? It could be doped with whatever, basically metal that will dissolve in it. Like we're all being doped. When they spray down the sky, which is, there's been some today, but those are actually real clouds, because I'm in the Pacific Northwest and that does happen here. We get real clouds and rain sometimes, thank God. It's the only time the air is ever breathable now. I grew up around here and the air was just immaculately good when I was young. My whole life up until about 97, 98 is when it really started to go to shit. And now it's a total shitstorm, continuously day and night. If it's not actively raining, we're sprayed to the nines. How does that tie in? I don't know, but it pisses me off. Thinking about science, though. Oh, doping. Yes. See, whatever you add to something is called doping in electrical terms. You dope the silicate so you can get different conductive properties out of it for, control of electrical flow. And, well, what about people? People are like little electrons bouncing around, maybe, right? Dope them, or dope them with some aluminum. That way we can send out our signal to the antennas in them and they can be on the grid. Then they're good for something. We can track their every movement and know their thoughts at all times. Fed to the big supercomputer, checking to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to. Man, welcome to the future. What a joke. Anyway, transistors, transistor grid, water as a semiconductor, and a resonant container. The tower itself is a container. If we had like several of those towers that were exactly the same, and we erected them all around here, there would be resonance between the towers alone. Then you put the water in there, and water has got a lot of mass, so once it oscillates, it has momentum. It likes to stay oscillating, I think, as long as the frequency is kept at the right whatever, as long as it's got the right frequency. All right, I got to go to a wedding. My cousin's son is getting married. Got to bring the presents in. I'd rather be making a Tartaria video down the street, really, but I better get in there and do my duties. Bye-bye.